Hi everyone, Father Lamb here, and it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, June 5th. I'd just like to make a little announcement. This weekend we have our parish festival at Queenship, all day Sunday. That's the June 9th. So please come on out and join us. And I'd like to give a special welcome to our people from BVM to come out. Now that we don't have our picnic at BVM, come on out. Let's enjoy the time together. I think it'd be a good way for us to get to know each other even more, as we twin our parishes. So I really appreciate you coming out, supporting the parishes, and also just having some fun. We need to get together and just enjoy life a little bit. Sometimes there's enough chaos and sadness in life that we just need to get together and celebrate a day together. And I think the weather's going to be nice. That's my job. I'm praying for good weather. We'll see how we do. Help me, Lord. So thank you, and please come out this Sunday. Last week I got a lot of comments about what we talked about, I think because of the subject matter. I mentioned last week, those of you may have not seen the Wednesday talk, about Jesus's beatitude, the one beatitude, blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. And I never understood that beatitude because I never thought mourning was blessed, or comforting. I always hated mourning and I ran from it. But then I learned there's a difference between grieving and mourning, as I mentioned last week. I'm not going to get into it all now because I already spoke about it, but you think of grief as the container of all of the sadness and the joy and the missing the person when we suffer a loss. So grief is the container, and the outward expression of that is what mourning is. And we express that many ways, through prayer, through maybe going to the graveside, maybe journaling, maybe talking about the person, recounting stories about their lives. It's getting that out, and that's really important because Jesus is trying to tell us once we get the grief out, we start to mourn it, then we're comforted. We need to share it with a trusted friend, and there's no right or wrong way of mourning. We just got to do what's comfortable for us. I know some people go to the graveyard every day to visit the cemetery. Other people, that would be a turnoff to them. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Whatever works for you is what's important, that you get those feelings out. But life is hard sometimes, isn't it? And I'm thinking this week as I'm praying through this, that what holds us up in our lives spiritually, and I think it's especially walking through grief, is trust on the one hand, trusting God, and on the other hand, thankfulness or gratitude. They're the things that keep coming up in my own spiritual life, and I think we're all struggling with them on some level. Do I really trust God that He really has what's best for me, my best interest in mind? And sometimes that's difficult because life is hard sometimes, But trusting means to trust God's plan. Jesus trusted the Father's plan even though it meant His death. But the deeper issue was salvation for the entire world. And you and I can get out there, get thrown into the river of life, and we can fight it. We can be swimming for all we're worth, and that's exhausting. And sometimes we got to trust the river of life, trust that God's bringing us where He wants us to go, and just kind of fall into that river of life and kick back and float instead of fighting everything. And when we float along, it's less exhaustive, but it's also trusting God. Like, Lord, I believe You're going to bring me where You want me to go, and to trust that flow. And then to be thankful for what He reveals to us. Because even in the grieving and mourning of our lives, He's revealing things to us and that we can be thankful for. And we need to see these gifts that God gives to us. And I mean, what it comes down to really is the cross. Like, you might say, what's the gift in the cross? But as I just mentioned, the gift in the cross for Jesus Christ was our salvation. And for you and I, as we struggle with different crosses in our lives, the temptation is, get it out of here. I don't like this cross. And we want to anesthetize it in some way. But that cross needs to be brought in and looked at. And there's a little tension in there in ourselves, like, I don't want this cross. But we have to find the blessing in the cross or the lesson. There's always something that God wants us to learn when crosses come our way. So maybe this week, we might just sit with the crosses in our lives. Stop fighting it. Go with the flow, as the saying goes, and ask Jesus, like, Lord, what is it that You want me to learn through this cross? Help me to accept this cross. I don't have to like it. Jesus didn't like the cross in the sense of liking dying, but He knew that He wanted to do the Father's will, and He trusted His Father's will. And that's the deeper issue, for us to go deeper in our spiritual lives and trust the flow of life, that God has in store for us what's best for us. So this week, let's kind of bracket our lives, our spiritual lives, between trust and thankfulness. God really does have our best interests in mind, And we really can be grateful for all the gifts that He's given to us. God bless you.